Some stories don't begin with love. They begin with loneliness. Not the kind you feel when you're alone in a room, but the kind that follows you to another country, hides in your suitcase, and waits until the middle of the night to remind you it's still there. This is a story about what happens when that loneliness answers a phone call at 2 a.m. When you're 56, alone and halfway across the world, you don't expect your phone to ring at 2 in the morning. But it did. And it wasn't a scammer or some overseas call center mistaking me for someone else. It was her. Crying. Whispering my name like it hurt her to say it. Baby, baby, please answer. I met Krista 2 weeks earlier at a resto bar in Bacong. Not the usual kind of place expats haunt. No red horse buckets, no pool tables, no half-dressed girls trying too hard to laugh at tired jokes. Krista wasn't even a waitress. She was just there. Eating alone. Eyes fixed on the ocean like she was waiting for someone who never showed up. I was just passing through, killing time before the last bus back to Dumaguete. She noticed me first, I think, or maybe I imagined it. When I stood up to leave, she smiled, almost apologetically. "You're not from here," she said. Not a question. A statement of fact. "No," I replied. Retired, sort of. Just exploring. Trying to disappear quietly. That made her laugh. Quietly. Like she knew exactly what I meant. We didn't exchange numbers that night. She just asked for my Facebook. I didn't think anything of it. I've had dozens of girls add me, then disappear after 2 polite messages. But Krista? She messaged me that same night. "You look like a man who doesn't sleep early." She was right. We talked every day after that. Voice notes. Photos. Little videos of her eating manggang hilaw or walking barefoot on the pier in Cebu. She didn't flirt much, just shared. That's what made it feel real. One night, she sent me a photo of her mother in a sari-sari store. The caption said, "She always dreamed of going to Bohol but never left Negros." The next morning, I sent Gcash for 3,000 Cuban pesos. She refused it. Said, "You're kind but I'm not like that. Let's just talk." That's enough. So when she called crying at 2 a.m., I didn't think twice. "Baby, it's Angel, my sister." She collapsed. They say maybe appendix burst, I don't know. We're in provincial hospital. I don't know what to do. Her voice cracked in places. I could hear people shouting in the background. A baby crying. A nurse giving instructions. I was wide awake, still in my boxers, my pulse hammering in my ears. "How much do you need?" I asked. Silence. "I didn't call for money," she said. "I just didn't know who else to talk to." I should have stopped there. But I didn't. Within 10 minutes, I'd sent 15,000 Cuban pesos. The next morning, she sent me a video. A shaky clip of a hospital corridor, her voice whispering, "She's stable now. Doctor says lucky we came early." I felt like a hero. I didn't hear from her for 3 days after I sent the 15,000 Cuban pesos. Not a thank you, not an update, not even one of her usual morning selfies with a filter that made her eyes look slightly too big. Just silence. I didn't panic. I told myself she was tired, stressed, taking care of her sister. But when the 4th day came, I cracked. "Hey Krista. Just checking in. Everything okay?" She replied almost instantly. "Sorry baby. Everything okay now. Angel back home. I was just drained. I missed you. I cried myself to sleep yesterday. I feel safe when you message." I told myself not to read into it. But I did. Of course I did. The next weekend she offered to visit me. Not in Dumaguete where I was staying long-term, but in Valencia. I'd rented a quiet mountain Airbnb for the week, trying to write a book I never quite started. She arrived at noon. No makeup. Hair tied. A small bag slung over one shoulder and a tub of Halo in the other hand. She wasn't stunning like some of the girls in Manila. But there was something softer. Realer. "I wanted to cook," she said, slipping off her sandals like it was her house. "But I don't know your kitchen." That night we slept in the same bed. She didn't ask for anything. Not money. Not clothes. Not even a ride back. She just held my hand and said, "You feel warm. Like a house." Stupid, but it made something break open in me. The days blurred into each other after that. Krista would disappear for a few days at a time, then return like the tide. Sometimes she'd bring fish. Sometimes cigarettes. Sometimes she'd just lie beside me, scrolling silently through TikTok while my laptop overheated on my stomach. I liked it. More than I should have. She called again 2 weeks later. I was in the middle of dinner watching a video about the best street food in Bacolod. Her voice sounded urgent again, not quite crying but close. "It's Mama this time," she said. "She's been peeing blood." I begged her to go before, but you know how they are. I didn't wait for the ask. How much? She hesitated. Cuban peso 10000, just for laughs. If it's serious, we'll need more. I wired 15,000 Cuban pesos. This time I didn't get a video. No pictures. No receipts. Just a short voice note the next morning. Mama resting now. Thank you, baby. You're the only man ever helped me like this. Not even my own father. That should have raised red flags. But I told myself some people just don't take photos in hospitals. And besides, this was Krista. She started referring to me as hubby in public. She'd comment on my Facebook posts with hearts. Started tagging me in those couple goals reels. Told me I should buy land so we could build a small rest house with trees and no noise. I was flattered, but also nervous. I'd seen the stories. Older foreigners falling for sweet-faced girls who smiled just right, cried on cue, and vanished the moment the Gcash dried up. But Krista was different. Wasn't she? Then came the third call. This time she didn't call. She just sent a photo of a prescription, unreadable, stamped with a hospital logo. I feel dizzy. I fainted. Doctor said low iron. Need meds. Don't want to bother you, but I'm scared. 5,000 Cuban pesos. Gone in seconds. Then silence. Then, I love you. You don't know how much. Please never leave me. That night I couldn't sleep. Not because of her, but because of the math. 15,000 Cuban pesos for the sister. 15,000 Cuban pesos for the mom. 5,000 Cuban pesos for Krista. Another 8,000 Cuban pesos in small gifts, load, dinners, jeepney fares. I told myself I was helping. I told myself I was investing in someone real. But deep down, a whisper started growing louder. What if this is exactly what you think it is? Krista started to fade. Not completely. Just in little ways. Before, she'd send selfies every morning. Now it was maybe once a week. Before, she'd call me baby or hubby in every message. Now it was just hey. I asked her once, jokingly, if she'd found a richer foreigner. She laughed. But her tone was different. Why you always think bad of me? No kiss emoji. No, I love you. Just a message. Cool. Like it came from someone I didn't recognize. A week later, I saw her tagged in a story. It wasn't public. But a friend of mine, a Scottish guy named Liam, messaged me late at night. Hey mate, isn't this the girl you're seeing? It was Krista. In a low-cut top. Sitting on a bar stool in a place called Red Bottle in Cebu. A place known for, well, let's just say most of the girls there aren't there for the cocktails. Worse, the guy she was laughing with wasn't me. White. Mid-40s. Balding. Arm around her like they'd known each other forever. I stared at the photo for a long time. Then I texted her. Hey, everything okay? No reply. I saw a picture of you. You in Cebu? Still nothing. 2 hours later, I got a voice note. She was crying. Art, you don't understand me. You never trust me. That's my cousin's boyfriend's friend. They forced me to come. I didn't even drink. I'm so tired of explaining myself to people who don't believe in me. The guilt hit me like a wave. I sent her 3,000 Cuban pesos the next morning. Just take care of yourself, okay? She replied with a heart emoji. That was all. A few days passed. I tried to shake the feeling. Tried to go back to normal. But the stories, the way they shifted, bent and blurred, started piling up. One day she was broke. Next day she was shopping with cousins. One day she was sick. Next day she was at a resort for a birthday. One night she claimed her phone broke. But when I checked her TikTok later, she posted a video dancing that same day wearing a new dress. I talked to Liam again. He used to date a Filipina bar girl. Said he learned everything the hard way. Listen mate, these girls, they're professionals. Not just in bed. Emotionally. They know what to say, how to cry, when to vanish. You think it's real because it feels real. That's the trick. I didn't want to believe him. But I couldn't deny the voice in my head anymore. So I tested her. I told her I had a money problem. That my card was blocked. That I might need to go back to Australia sooner than planned. She didn't cry. She didn't even ask questions. She just said, okay. Be safe. I waited 3 days before messaging again. This time I said I was better. That I fixed the issue. That I missed her. She replied 5 minutes later. Baby, I missed you too. I was so worried. My mama's sick again. But I didn't want to bother you. There it was. The pitch. This time I didn't send anything. I said I was short. That maybe I could send a little next week. She replied, it's okay baby. I understand. But then I watched her close friend's Instagram story. She was drinking. With 2 other girls. At a beach resort in Oslo. Someone, a man, filmed the video. She looked straight at the camera and smiled. Not a sad, tired, my mom is dying smile. A flirty, playful, I'm having fun smile. That night I didn't sleep. Not because I was heartbroken. Because I realized I'd fallen for it. The calls. The tears. The sweetness. The fantasy. And I paid for all of it. The next morning I got a message. No baby. No sweet emojis. Just, can you help? It's urgent. I stared at it for a long time. Then I typed, who else are you texting this to? She left me on read. I didn't respond again. But I watched. I kept her on social media. I wanted to see what she posted, how fast she'd move on, how many lies would stack up before they collapsed on her. She didn't block me. That surprised me. Maybe she thought I'd come back. Or maybe I was just one of many. The week after that urgent message, she went quiet again. Then she posted another video. Not on her feed, on TikTok Live. She was drinking. Wearing something new. Laughing with 2 other girls. I watched the whole stream. A username popped up in the comments, JohnnyUK19. He sent her a rose. Then a heart. Then a dancing bear, all paid gifts. And then she said something that made my stomach twist. Ah, thank you, babe. I miss our video calls. That could have been me. Maybe it still was. I went to the TikTok profile. Private. But his bio said, British expat, Cebu. The puzzle was coming together. She hadn't been with me. Not really. I was just one player in her game. A week later, I booked a flight to Cebu. Not to chase her. Not to win her back. That part of me was dead. I just needed closure. Answers. I wanted to see it, to really see the life she'd hidden from me. The one behind the fake tears and soft baby talk. I stayed in a cheap hotel not far from Mango Avenue. The kind of place where the Wi-Fi barely worked, and the air conditioning growled like a dying dog. Perfect. Exactly the kind of place guys like me stay when they come looking for girls like Krista. First night out, I went to Red Bottle, the bar where Liam had seen her. Dark. Flashing lights. Loud music. Girls in mini dresses pretending not to be bored. It felt more like a theater than a club. Everyone was performing. I ordered a beer and waited. A girl came over. Petite. Maybe 20. Hi babe. You alone? I shook my head. Just waiting for someone. She smiled, leaned in. You wait long, I can keep you company. I looked her in the eyes. Do you know Krista? She blinked. Paused. Then carefully. Krista? Which one? I showed her a photo. One I'd saved early on. Krista smiling with her hair tied up, no makeup. The girl's eyes changed. She knew. You her boyfriend? Not anymore. She not come here now. Before, yes. But she stopped maybe 2 months. Why? She shrugged. Too many boyfriend. One come angry. Drama. Boss say no more. She now go other place. I think she go with older man. Foreign. I nodded slowly. There it was. The curtain pulled back. Later that night, outside the bar, I met one of the bouncers. Big guy. Quiet. I slipped him 500 Cuban pesos and asked the same question. He didn't even hesitate. Krista? That girl, trouble. Pretty but trouble. I asked what happened. He leaned closer. She was smart. Make many guys fall. Cry. Make drama. Money, money, money. Then one man, American, he find out. He hit her. Police come. Bar don't want problem. Kick her out. Where is she now? He shrugged. Last I hear, she with one man, old guy. Living near IT Park. Rich man. Maybe she stopped this life. Maybe not. I walked back to the hotel that night with something heavy in my chest. It wasn't heartbreak. It was humiliation. I hadn't just been fooled. I'd been one of many. A face in a rotation. A wallet with a name. A story she told between crying selfies and PayPal requests. I thought about texting her. Telling her I knew. That I'd spoken to people. That I saw through the game now. But I didn't. What would be the point? She wouldn't admit it. She'd cry again. Blame me. Say I misunderstood everything. She might even ask for help again. Instead, I opened my gallery. Scrolled through all the pictures. Us on video calls. Her posing in the dress I bought. Screenshots of sweet messages. Audio of her singing me happy birthday. One by one I deleted them. Until all that was left was a blank screen and a knot in my gut. The next morning I booked a ferry to Bohol. A detox. No bars. No Krista. Just peace. On the ride over I got a text. You in Cebu? I didn't reply. She sent another. I saw you online. Are you okay? I miss you. That one I did respond to. Just 2 words. Don't bother. It's been 4 months. I haven't heard from her since that last message, the one I shut down with "don't bother." I changed my number. Deleted all traces. Blocked her on every app one could think of. Even the old ones we barely used. But sometimes, late at night, I still wonder if she thinks about me. If I was just another ATM, or if, for even a second, I was something real. Bohol gave me space. Time to think. Time to feel stupid in peace. I stayed at a quiet resort by the beach. No nightlife. No girls approaching me with soft voices and, "Hey babe, you look lonely." Just quiet. For 2 weeks, I didn't touch my phone except to take photos of the ocean. I didn't drink. Didn't chase. Didn't fall for smiles that cost something. But healing isn't a straight road. It's weird things that bring the past back. Like the sound of a messenger ping from someone else's phone in a cafe. Or hearing the same ringtone she used when I called. Or a girl on the street with the same kind of laugh. I hate how a scam can leave fingerprints on your brain. After the trip, I flew home. Back to the UK. Back to gray skies and a room that felt colder than I remembered. My mates asked how the trip went. I lied. Said it was amazing. Said I'd met someone cool, but it didn't work out. Just travel romance stuff. I didn't tell them I was used. That I paid someone's rent in the name of love. That I believed lies dressed as affection. Who wants to admit that? I spent the first few weeks back reading forums. Expat threads. Reddit subs. Scammer groups. And the more I read, the more I realized I wasn't special. She probably had a playbook. Copy-paste affection. Pre-recorded tears. Voice notes designed to keep you hooked. There were men on those forums who'd lost tens of thousands. One guy sold his bike to help his Filipina fiancée, only to find out she had 3 kids and a live-in boyfriend. And still, some went back. Some still defended the girls. Not all of them are like that. She's just in a bad situation. I think she really loved me. They were all saying what I used to say. And that's the trap. It's not just the scam, it's how it's wrapped in emotion. You don't feel robbed. You feel rejected. And rejection makes you chase. Apologize. Give more. Forgive too fast. They know that. They're masters at making you doubt your own instincts. A few weeks ago, a friend from Cebu messaged me. A guy I'd met briefly at the bar. "Hey bro. You remember Krista?" I stared at the screen for a while before replying. "Yeah. What about her?" He sent a photo. It was her. Sitting beside a man at a resort pool. He looked 60 minimum. Balding. Big stomach. Gold chain. She was smiling. Not fake. Not guilty. Just comfortable. She's living with this guy now. German expat. People say he built her family a house. I didn't reply. What was I supposed to say? Congratulations? I sat with that picture for a long time. And I felt 2 things. Relief. Because that wasn't me anymore. A strange kind of sadness. Because part of me had wanted it to mean something. I won't say she's evil. She's probably been through things I'll never understand. Maybe the first man hurt her. Maybe the second one abandoned her. Maybe this was her way of surviving. But that doesn't mean it wasn't a choice. She made me a choice. She chose to lie. To cry for money. To fake love. That's not survival. That's performance. And here's the truth no one wants to admit. Sometimes you can't fix someone's life by loving them. Sometimes your kindness is just fuel for their next hustle. Would I date a Filipina again? Maybe. But never online. Never through a screen. Never when love comes wrapped in guilt and price tags. And if you're watching this and you're in deep with a girl you've never met in person, ask yourself something. Has she ever sent you money? Has she ever done something for you with no benefit to herself? If you said no to her next request, would she still love you? If the answer to all of that is no, then maybe you're not in a relationship. Maybe you're just in a very well-decorated trap. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. It helps us grow and gets our stories recommended to more people. It's totally free for you, but it means the world to us. Thanks for the support.